So I've had the boys do a few tier lists over the last couple of years. For the most part, it led to relatively productive conversations, and hell, we even got to learn a bit about each of their tastes in gaming. But inevitably, regardless of how positive the vibes may start, we eventually fall back into...
Why do you guys always insist on pissing me off with these lists?
Don't be blaming us for you letting yourself get worked up over stupid shit.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
You're so delusional with that take that the stupidity might be contagious.
D.
Look,
He likes his hip new consoles with the totally unforgettable titles like fucking Fortnite.
What are you fucking on about?
Do the floss, Donald.
You're so damn butthurt, it's honestly cringe.
What are you talking about?
You're just fucking grasping at straws with this shit, Donald.
Anyway, welcome everybody to the 20K subscriber special. If you remember, 10,000 subs ago, I previously mentioned that I'd eventually be doing a video where the boys revisit their old lists and rank new installments. Originally, it was going to be its own side video, but seeing that I had more urgent projects to focus on at the time, I figured it would just be better to hold on to the idea for this occasion. Without wasting any more time, I'd like to ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the antics that are about to transpire. See you at the end, fellas.
You fellas ready to spit some opinions?
I'm locked in and ready to go, Barry.
This should be a lot of fun.
Nice. Let me go ahead and get all this up.
While you set everything up, Brock, would you like us to lay down the game plan for our beautiful viewers at home?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, now check this, my homies.
Oh, Lord.
The name of the game today is to revisit our first 4 tier lists, which were done within the first year of our channel's history. How we're going to go about our revisits is going to be in a reverse order, basically meaning we're going to start with Nintendo systems, then work our way back to the first video we ever made, which was Mario RPGs.
It's also worth noting that we're sort of treating this like a 2-year anniversary special, even though we've already passed that point by quite some time. But to commemorate, we're going to be doing something a bit extra when we get to Mario RPGs, so definitely stay tuned for that.
Another thing we're going to be doing for these first 3 tier lists is implementing a proposal system. Essentially what that means is for each list, the 4 of us are going to individually make a case for a single game to either be raised or dropped. If the arguments are compelling, then it gets passed, and of course if not, then the proposal will be vetoed. I think that's pretty much everything, Barack. You got it all set up?
Ready to roll.
Very good. Let me turn this music off.
Okay, so like Joe said, we're thankfully going to be getting the Nintendo Systems tier list out of the way first. I tell you, if it's any fucking list I regretted doing in the past, this one takes the crown.
You know you loved it, Barry, don't lie.
This is also the only list to not currently at the time of this recording have a new entry to talk about.
Well, kinda sorta. A lot of people have already formed their opinions on Switch 2.
Ben was actually telling me that a good number of people were curious to know our thoughts on the system after the reveal dropped. So while it isn't on this list, what we could at least do is briefly converse over what we've seen after we're done making our adjustments.
Okay, so are we going to go ahead and make our proposals now?
Not just yet, bro. There's something else I'd like to do first.
What do you mean?
There's another surprise to this tier list revisit special that I wanted to incorporate.
Oh, I see. So you want us to rank some extra systems.
That's right. With the exception of the Mario Party list, I went and added some extra selections to make things more interesting. But I want to make sure that we maintain a decent flow with this whole project, so let's lock in and treat these new additions as if they were a part of a lightning round, okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's go in order.
Bottom Sleepy.
Not even going to let me say the name?
Barry, stop playing. It's the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about with this.
Agreed. That thing was just a straight miss.
Yeah, good point. Up next is Donald's Panasonic Q. By the way, when getting things together for this video, I realized we mistakenly called it Parasonic, so shame on Donald for mispronouncing it.
Unbelievable.
What do you mean? You're the one who got it wrong.
Could have sworn it was Parasonic, but whatever. What made you add this to the list?
Instead of fucking ourselves by lumping consoles together like last time, I figured it'd be a better idea to rank certain systems separately.
Got it. Well, it's a GameCube that doubles as a DVD player, so S tier.
This is not S tier. At best, I'd say the Panasonic is B.
Are you fucking Delulu?
No. And you need to get off TikTok.
Why would you say this thing goes in B, George? Because I really don't know much about it other than what Donald's told me.
On top of the fact that this system was region locked and more expensive by at least a couple $100s, the system itself is also known to be more fragile and an absolute bitch to maintain maintenance-wise.
But bro, it's a GameCube that plays movies. Come on.
Yeah, that's great. You know, at that time, if I wanted my console to play DVDs, I'd spend $130 less on a PS2 in America.
Ooh.
Man, hearing that makes me think it's a C-tier console.
Yeah, that's kind of a hard sell, buddy.
You guys just can't wrap your head around true novelty.
So does mid-C sound about right?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, following that is the Wii Mini. Real talk, I fucking hated this thing. It was a stripped-down version of the Wii with no backwards compatibility and worse video quality than the standard Wii.
You know what's funny is that I've seen these things sell for more than what a typical used Wii would cost.
I'd say sleepy tier based on them removing the GameCube compatibility.
Didn't even know this was a thing.
Given the fact that it still plays Wii games, I'd say it's not sleepy tier. but definitely mid-D.
Well, you're the Wii fanboy, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it really isn't all that remarkable.
To mid-D it goes.
Up next, we have the Switch Lite and Switch OLED.
The OLED is a no-brainer. It's a better version of the Switch, so I'd say S tier, below the Super Nintendo. Is there anything significant about the Lite?
So I actually purchased one of these for Jill recently because she wanted to play some Animal Crossing. From what I've seen, it's almost like a slightly stripped-down Switch, having a smaller design and a shorter battery life. But all in all, it's a decent handheld system that's a decent substitute if you can't afford the regular Switch. So I'd say to put it in mid-A, maybe.
Do you really think it's worthy enough to sit next to the GameCube and Nintendo 64?
Oh, absolutely. It's a decent little handheld system, totally worthy of the rank.
Given the amount of handheld games you're able to play, I'd say it's worthy of being in the middle.
No objections here.
Got it.
Man, if only this shit was this easy all those times before.
Then it would have been boring.
Up next, we have the Game Boy SP.
Bro, the way all my neurons just activated.
Believe me, bro, I get it. This was the Game Boy to finally implement that backlight, which was oh so needed.
It also, of course, could play the older Game Boy games, which was fucking goated shit from my library.
This was also pretty damn cheap for its time. I think it was around $100.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cheap. But compared to the DS, does this thing really measure up like that?
I don't necessarily know if it's S-tier material, but given its pricing and the library of games available for the console, anything less than A-tier would be criminal.
This is my all-time favorite handheld, Donald. Maybe I'm a bit blinded by my bias, but this is bottom S-tier material.
I wouldn't go that high. I think Barack is right on the money with A-tier, but it should definitely go on the bottom.
Well, I don't really have the same feelings that you guys do, but I also don't care to argue, so whatever. But man, listen, since we got all the DSs split up now, you have to admit that the DS Lite is pretty fucking close to peak. With an original price of around $130 to the damn near-goated library, this handheld alone clears most of this list, undeniably.
But tell me what it has over the SP, Donald.
A wider design, which is more comfortable for people with bigger hands.
Damn it!
The SP's design never bugged me that much, but I do agree with you, Donald.
Technically speaking, a lot of the games that came out around this era were pretty damn spectacular too, so I agree with mid-A.
Very well then. But what about the DSi?
If you ask me, it comes down to a matter of preference. Where DSi had the online features and homebrew shit, the Lite could play Game Boy games and of course was also pretty inexpensive. Plus, I feel that it maintained a lot of its quality. I only got a DSi for games like Bowser's Inside Story. So, just looking at my personal preference, I'd say the Lite has a small edge.
I think they're both equal personally.
I feel the same, honestly. Why don't we just keep it simple and put them next to each other?
Okay? And that just leaves us with the 2DS.
Compared to the new 3DS XL that you guys have placed in S tier, I'd say the standard 2DS is top B maybe. I wouldn't say it's perfect, and to be frank, I don't exactly dig the design, but it wasn't horrible.
I never cared for this thing, so its placement is practically irrelevant to me.
I had one for a while, but ultimately ended up giving it to Hunter because I preferred my 3DS.
I'll just close out the lightning round by placing this thing in top B.
That was pretty painless.
Let's see if we can keep it that way, because we're about to dive into our first proposal section of this special. As a quick reminder, for this and the two lists that follow, the four of us will be given one chance to either make or break a random console in this list. Depending on what you may choose, if we vibe with the reasoning, then we'll either vote to pass or veto. Let me go ahead and start us off.
All right?
I'd like to propose to boost the NES to C tier above the Wii U.
Oh?
Because I fucking overheard George and Joe scheming by the ice cream bar about how you were going to try to swarm me with NES trivia.
Oh, you heard that?
Donald's the one who pointed it out.
Wow.
You rat motherfucker.
Damn.
Thanks, Barry. I'll remember this next time you need an excuse for Michelle.
I'm sorry, I know, I just couldn't help myself. But anyway, I've laid my offer on the table. All you fuckers have to do is take it. So what's it going to be?
Well, I'll admit, it was my original plan to make a case for the NES to be boosted to B tier.
Well, tough shit, it ain't going that high.
Yeah, that's way too high for that shit.
C tier above the Wii U is pretty tempting, Joe. You gotta admit.
I know, but I'm a gambling man. You guys remember that time I played Uno with McConnell?
Yeah, he won that game.
No, he didn't.
He called your bluff and picked red, which caused you to draw 12 cards.
That's not how it happened.
He talked about that for weeks.
All right, fuck you, never mind. Damn it all, you took the fun out of my plan. Just go ahead.
Great, thank God. So the original Nintendo is officially bumped up to top C. Are there any other proposals y'all would like to bring to the table?
Yeah, I'm noticing that you actually formatted this list to look like how it did before our Smash Ultimate Challenge. With that in mind, I'd like to propose that the GameCube be brought into S tier next to the Wii.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. Why didn't you create the post-ultimate list?
I won't lie, that was a genuine mistake on my end. But that whole ordeal turned into such a clusterfuck that I'd say doing things this way was worth it.
Well, I think you're doing the GameCube a disservice keeping it under the 3DS, so I agree that it should be an S tier, but under the Wii.
Can you live with that, Donald?
I don't consider the Wii to be a better console, but for once I'm going to work with you because I want to keep this going.
Your intensity had me nervous for a second.
So this proposal thing is basically just a vote, right?
Correct. But with George saying yes and me leaning yes, a no wouldn't sway anything.
Well, seeing that I literally had to beat you in a game of Smash Ultimate to get the system in S tier, you can assume that I'm for this motion.
Very well then. Donald, your proposal has been passed. The GameCube now sits in S tier next to the Wii.
Justice.
Okay, so is there anything you two would like to propose before we move on?
You know what? There actually is. When rewatching your guys' original video on this topic, I can't help but think you were way too hard on the original Game Boy and the Color. So Joe, what I think needs to be done is the two of us should make proposals to move the Game Boy Color to top of D, and then the original just under it.
But why only top D? Ain't that too low?
Given the competition, I feel like this is actually fair. I just don't want to move on from this list with the OG and sleepy tier.
There are better games on the Wii Mini.
Don't simp over a console you claim to dislike when it's convenient, Barack.
Take it easy, bro. I was just messing around. So anyway, is that really what you guys want to do?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, Barack. So automatically, each of these proposals have one yay from the two of us. So what's your move?
I can't believe you guys are really holding hands like this over a couple of fucking bricks.
The original Game Boy had a legacy that is beyond iconic, jackass.
This brickhead is brick simping.
You're fucking unreal.
So I'm assuming it's a no from Donald?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just think these things are too outdated to compare.
Well, I agree, but admittedly, this thing was pretty remarkable for its time. I also know there were plenty of people who got mad over this rank.
Barack, if you don't do this, you know you'll be hearing from Ben.
Oh, fucking hell, you're right.
Really, Joseph?
Nobody wants to hear one of Ben's nostalgia tangents, Barack. Do yourself a favor and give us a yay.
You know you want to do it.
You guys know Ben edits these, right?
Against my better judgment, I don't feel like getting an earful.
Spectacular. We got some W's with this one, George.
Fuck yeah, some dubs for the classics. I'm here for it.
Congratulations.
Okay, great. With that finally said and done, we can finally put this damn list to rest.
At least until the Switch 2 drops.
No, dude, I'm not making another fucking console list. If we do a video about it, then maybe it'll just be a retrospective or something.
Man, you're funny thinking I'm gonna go buy that fucking thing.
Donald, you ain't fooling nobody. Come on.
I hope the fucking thing flops.
You know that ain't happening.
Maybe in a perfect world, George.
If this was a perfect world, then the system's main gimmick wouldn't be price gouging consumers.
Man, I know that a lot of the prices are bogus right now, but the games at least still look like they're gonna slap.
Right, I can't wait to play an $80 Forza game with Mario characters slapped all over it.
Come on, man. Mario Kart World looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Look, I don't mean to be so pessimistic, dude. I just can't help but wonder if this fucking ambition is backed by substance. I don't care if I can just drive off the stage to a wide wasteland of desert or grass. I literally just want a fucking race.
No, honestly.
And ideally for $60, not 80 to 90, just because they feel like it.
Well, you know they're blaming tariffs for all the pricey bullshit.
Fuck them, they're just trying to use that as a scapegoat for their greed.
You guys see that Doug Bowser statement where they pulled the Xbox 360 shit all over again?
Right. If you can't afford Switch 2, then simply buy Switch 1.
That guy's a jackass.
But on a more positive note, a lot of the games look pretty cool, and we're finally getting a 3D Donkey Kong game.
Not to mention Prime 4.
Yeah, that'll be pretty sweet.
For now, let's just hope that things find a way to turn around.
Fucking $10 for a system tour. Astrobot did that shit for free.
Wii Sports did that for free too.
Primarily because Reggie was around to make good decisions. I miss that man every day of my life.
I hope that guy's been doing okay.
All right, well anyway guys, I feel like we're getting a bit off track. There's nothing more to rank, so I think it's best to move into the next category.
Ah, yes, the Mario Party list.
So what would you guys like to cover first, Jamboree or the proposals?
I think it would be better to rank all new inclusions first. Because what if one of us values a particular game more than Jamboree?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, all right, then let's figure out where we can fit Jamboree in this list. If you were to ask me, I think this game is exceptionally decent, not at all my favorite, but mid-A at least.
I admittedly haven't played too much of the game, but I enjoyed what I experienced.
It has a pretty damn good roster, and I love the inclusion of unique character abilities for the boards. It makes things so much more competitive. Have you guys had a chance to try out the pro rules yet?
Yes, that's actually my preferred way of playing, especially for boards like Bowser's Keep.
That board does get pretty intense with those rules switched on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's with that look? You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Donald, did you not like Jamboree?
No, I liked it, but I just set my expectations way too high, that's all.
What do you mean?
Okay, look, here are my main problems with the game. First of all, you were talking about the buddy gimmicks, right? I genuinely think that this team system they slapped together is worse than Super Mario parties.
Seriously?
Are you pulling my fucking leg?
No, I'm serious. Look, let's paint a picture. You're mid-game and a character pops up on screen like Peach or whoever, and once you cross by, you initiate this longer than average character minigame, then bust your ass trying to place first. You then win the minigame, claim your buddy, but oop, someone just walked past you, now Peach is gone.
You know what? I see his point. It would have been way better if you could keep your teammate for the duration of their stay.
But you could just as easily steal them back.
But it's the fact that it's even a concern in the first place.
I can see the point, but that's not severe enough for me to say it needs to drop a tier.
Oh yeah? Well, how about the mini-games being pretty fucking average?
They were not all that bad.
It's not that they were bad, they were just okay. Plus, I felt like I was getting a lot of repeats when going through the boards.
Can't say I relate to that, Donald. The game has around 112 mini-games, if I remember right, and I personally didn't feel like they were getting stale at any point.
Well, to be fair to the game, that may just be because I usually switch off the motion control mini-games.
What?
Donald, you can't complain about limited mini-games while openly admitting to turning the motion controls off.
Why do you turn off the motion controls?
Because I want to be able to play with my Pro Controller just like in Superstars. I never preferred playing with the Joy-Con. The damn thing was too fucking small.
Well, I can understand if you have your preferences, but the fact of the matter is that the game has a bunch of content that you're choosing to ignore.
Yeah, I literally don't know what to tell you.
Where would you rank the game if this was a personal list?
Honestly, B tier, next to Super Mario Party.
Forgive me, but that's fucking ridiculous.
B tier isn't that bad, let's be honest.
It is ridiculous, bro. The game does too much to just be labeled average.
It's also just another party game that just holds your damn hand the whole time. Like, I know this is just an old man talking, but I seriously miss the good days of actual competitive Mario Party.
Whatever.
Too bad the fucking Wii era killed that for us.
Okay, before we say something stupid, let's breathe for a second. I see we have some strong opinions and a couple neutrals. Why don't we each just give our personal ranking to get an idea of where it should go?
I already said mine.
Top B to mid A. It's really not bad, but you'd be a liar calling it the best.
Okay, well, I think it's a top A game.
To me, it belongs in bottom S. The boards are super fucking creative. The side modes are pretty damn fun. I think they did this game some justice. And it's gonna get some new content pretty soon with the new console.
Ooh, please pay us more money.
Oh, piss off.
I just bought the fucking game like under a year ago, and they already want $20 to $30 fucking dollars.
It's for the fucking new content, you troglodyte.
I think it would just be a good idea to average our votes out to mid A, Barack. I don't think it's likely that we're gonna find an agreement here.
Only for the sake of saving time.
Whatever, I can live with that rank.
Same here.
Good, I'll place it between 2 and Superstars. With that out of the way, I'd like to kick off our proposals if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to propose that Mario Party 8 be moved up to somewhere between bottom to mid A tier. I know it is by no means a perfect addition to the franchise, but I feel like our previous ranking was too critical.
No, it wasn't. The game's outdated and barely even worth a revisit.
I don't know about that. My only complaint is that the single-player experience was a bit lacking, but it at least made up for it with the standard party mode.
Admittedly, I wasn't too big a fan of this game. Some of the qualities were a few of the boards, but something that kind of took the magic away were the few instances where the motion controls would act up during minigames.
Yeah, half the time it felt pretty hit or miss.
I genuinely did not ever have a bad experience with the motion controls.
Well, lucky you.
I have gone back to revisit this game more than 4, though. Furthermore, my original ranking of this game was more fueled by me being salty over Advance. So to be fair to my homie, I'll vote to pass this proposal.
Thank you.
So all you need to do now is sway George, because I don't see Donald breaking on this.
I've stated my reasons already. I'm sorry, but I vote to veto.
Would you mind reminding me of the boards? I know there's Koopa's Monopoly or whatever, but what else is there?
Here's the list of all 6 boards.
Ooh, I forgot about Haunted Hideaway. That was a really fun board to play at the time. On top of having really good music, the randomly changing rooms made the RNG all the more intense.
And you like that type of shit?
Didn't you say Wario's Battle Canyon was one of your favorite boards?
Don't you dare do that. It is not the same.
Thinking about that shit takes me back to the last 2 holiday seasons I spent as president. The family would get together to make some good food, then huddle around the Wii to play some Wii Sports, then brawl in 2008. But we did play a couple of rounds of this game, and I do remember having a lot of fun with it at that time. Jeb was actually pretty good at Mario Party, come to think of it. But, Barack, don't get me wrong. I think this game is okay, but I honestly can't say it's A-tier material. If you ask me, I think top of B is more acceptable.
If I agree to top B, do I earn your vote?
Sure.
Then I'll take it.
Nice.
I would also like to make a proposal, if that's cool.
Of course, man, lay it on the table.
Since that Mario Party ranking video dropped, Don Jr. has actually been talking to me a lot about 7. We did a couple playthroughs of the game this past year, and I have to say it's actually a lot of fun. More fun than I remembered.
Yeah, this one I'm surprised ended up so low. It's a fantastic game.
Wow, I never took your boy to be a Mario Party guy, Donald.
Well, he actually isn't, is the thing. He just happens to enjoy this one a whole bunch. But anyway, yeah, I was actually going to vouch for it to be pushed to top B or bottom A, but the whole re-rank of 8 just made this kind of awkward.
I still haven't put any effort into playing this game. so I wouldn't be able to offer any input.
I'll vote yay on this, at least because it's a much better game than 4.
I'd be totally down ranking this game higher if it wasn't for the stupid-ass Bowser gimmick where he fucks you over every 5 turns.
Barack, most of his effects are him just screwing with the boards in minor ways. It's not that serious.
And on the topic of boards, they're seriously creative.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. They look pretty sick.
I just don't know if I should shoot for either A or B.
No way is this game going in A.
You seem to have such a profound hatred for a game relatively high in the tier list. What's that about?
A lot of my anger towards this game comes from the many bad experiences I had, playing with Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. I know I'm good at Mario Party, but for some reason I could never click with this game. It was like there was something just off with it. Add that in with the stupid-ass Bowser shit and, well, it just wasn't the same fun experience that 5 or 6 was for me.
Would you consider the possibility that you just might need to experience the game again with a new crowd?
No shit, dude. If I had to play a game with either of those clowns, I'd probably have poor memories of it as well.
When did this even happen?
Mid-2013, I played with those guys and Chuck Schumer.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Barack. We need to figure out a time to play 7 in the near future to clear your mind.
Real talk, you may be right. Well, maybe I'm just being too critical. So you know what? Fuck it. I'll let it climb to bottom A.
Very good. Anything else?
Do you guys actually believe Super Mario Party to be that good?
Yeah, it's a low-key comfort game of mine.
I thought it was a guilty pleasure.
No, I'm just going to call it what it is. Melania is actually the one who got me into this game because she was eager to dip her toe into the Mario Party series. I said there were better games, but she had already bought it, so I figured why not? While the game was a bit lacking, especially when it came to the boards, we built some absolutely tremendous memories around it. Same with Superstars, as a matter of fact.
I really dig that.
There ain't nothing like gaming with your spouse, bro. I love it. Anyway, is there anything else that needs to be talked about with this list?
I thought about making a case for advance, but it's fine where it's at.
I got nothing.
Very good. We got through that quicker than expected?
All that's left now before our finale is Mainline Mario.
Right, and this next one, I won't lie, is gonna be a behemoth.
Wait, why?
Take a look.
Oh, holy fuck.
How many new entries is that?
17.
Don't you think this is a bit excessive?
It's the 20K, bro. There ain't nowhere to go but big.
I mean, fuck it, I'm down, but gonna be one hell of a lightning round.
No kidding.
So long as we lock in, we'll be fine. So buckle up. Our first entry for the Mainline Mario Lightning Round is the original Mario All-Stars.
How do you even rank something like this?
If I'm being honest, when we made the original list video, I purposely chose to keep the All-Stars games out of the ranking. And the reasoning behind that is because it's literally a game that bundles other games together.
Well, at least in the case of these 2 particular All-Stars games, they enhanced everything about the original versions of each inclusion. In fact, I often hear most people say that this is their preferred way of playing classic Mario.
True, and with that in mind, I do agree that these 2 games in particular made it more convenient for people to go back and enjoy the original games. That being said, I think these games are an easy S tier and can be placed above Super Mario World.
Yeah, I definitely wore out my original All-Stars Plus World Cart. I played that shit like every weekend or whenever I found some downtime back in the day.
Nice. And on the topic of bundles, what did you guys think of the 3D All-Stars collection?
As much as I want to give it credit for granting me the opportunity to play a better version of Mario Galaxy, it kills me that they made this a limited time only type of game.
Yeah, same.
What do you mean by better version?
The motion controls were much easier to work with.
Being able to play Galaxy on the go was certainly a highlight for me personally. Of course, 64 and Sunshine were cool, but Galaxy was something special.
Well, 64 was already on NSO anyway. I primarily got it for Sunshine and Galaxy.
But man, what a missed opportunity to not include Galaxy 2. Like, what the fuck were they thinking?
You don't think it's because they were like, it's 3D, so you get 3 games?
I fucking hope not, because that's some goofy goober Neanderthal-ass way of thinking.
It really is disappointing that they just ignored Galaxy 2. To this day, my only most convenient way of playing it is via Dolphin.
Yeah, so S tier, right?
What?
Hand to God, I actually think this is more of an A to me. Probably even bottom A if I'm being perfectly honest.
Seriously?
Yeah, because again, unlike the older All-Stars games, you can't buy it anymore. Plus, for it being a 35th anniversary commemoration for Mario, literally, why would you not only do that, but also cut Galaxy 2? It makes no fucking sense. Like, they just didn't even care.
Yeah, I agree with bottom A. Like you said, they deliberately chose to cut out a major addition to the franchise and still had people pay full price despite one of the 3 included games, again, already being playable on NSO.
By comparison to the classic All-Stars games, it's pretty soulless. Literally just carried by the inclusion of 3 iconic games and their soundtracks. And not to be overly cynical, but I never gave a shit when games include their OSTs as bonus content, because I could just look that shit up on YouTube Music. So with all due respect, Nintendo, fuck all this OST bonus content. Please just re-release the 3D All-Stars bundle with Galaxy 2.
Preach.
Okay, so 3D All-Stars goes to bottom A then. Let's dial it back a bit to talk about a game that George convinced me to add, Yoshi's Island.
Also known as Super Mario World 2.
So I went back during some free time to re-experience this game, and I have to say, it was pretty impressive.
Which version did you play, OG or Game Boy?
The original.
A lot of people I know actually grew up with the GBA version. which actually held up pretty well to its original counterpart.
Plus, the Game Boy port also added 6 additional levels, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, they were even pretty challenging.
I'd also give it a point for being a bit more unique with its gameplay, given what we were used to at the time with Mario games.
And God bless it for bringing in a super unique lineup of bosses, and bro, that fucking soundtrack. I say it should go in bottom S.
Oh, you don't consider it a step up from 3 or World?
No, Mario World has a special place in my heart that this game can't occupy. And if we're talking about the Game Boy version of Mario 3 with all those e-reader levels, then nah, Yoshi's is just a step under that.
Bottom S is appropriate.
I was gonna say S too.
Then to bottom S it goes.
Oh, holy shit, you have Mario Deluxe on here?
Yeah, you played it?
About as much as Mario Land, yeah. It's pretty fun. The only thing I'd say about it as a detraction is the fact that it has some pretty bad screen crunch.
Yeah, that definitely screwed me over a good number of times during speedruns, but it's also got those bonus modes, which were pretty cool.
Yeah, the red coins, the Yoshi egg hunt, not to mention the mode where you race a Boo through a set of unique stages.
That mode was one of the reasons I kept going back to that game.
So based off your experiences, where do you think this should rank?
Well, despite the fun I've had with the game, it does ultimately prove to be a slightly worse version of Mario 1 because of the screen crunch. Side modes can only get you so far, especially given that the game is harder to play these days.
I can't argue with that.
So I'd probably say to put it under Mario Land 2.
You sure? Mario 2 is older.
But that game has more personality.
Exactly.
Okay. So I feel like we could breeze through these next 4 games pretty easily. Let's go in order. Mario Advance 1.
Had some minor additions, like, for example, the extra boss, Roberto.
Roberto?
No, literally Robot Birdo.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Fucking idiot.
I didn't really like the graphical upgrade this game had with the super bright colors.
They did that as a way to compensate for the original GBA's lack of a backlight. But as neat as this port is, I still prefer returning to the original.
I always kind of preferred it because I just liked having games on the go.
I don't really care for this game. The original was enough for me.
I feel sort of in the middle about this, so I'll just put them next to each other. Moving on to Mario Advance 2.
Literally and unfortunately the worst version of Mario World.
Here we go.
Don't you think that's a bit harsh?
No, but I will give it credit. While the graphics and most certainly the music is a step down from the original, it was still Mario World on the go for a number of years. So I'd give it a bottom A rank based on that.
Would you guys say that's fair?
I don't really care to argue over it.
Me neither.
Okay, then I'll keep it moving. Would we say that Mario Advance 3 is a step up from Yoshi's because of the extra content?
Sure, why not?
I don't see a problem.
Extra content for a fantastic game is always a treat.
And, I mean, we all can agree that Mario Advance 4 is carried by the e-reader world.
To say the least.
I'd actually put it above Mario World.
I can't agree to that, but I'm willing to compromise by saying they're on an equal level.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
That's fine. Put them next to each other.
Awesome, thank you.
Before you waste too much breath on the next 2 games, I think you should just put them under Mario U Deluxe. It's literally just a bundle of both of them.
That makes sense.
But Luigi U is more interesting in my opinion. It's got harder levels that you have to complete in a much shorter time frame.
Say less? I guess while we're talking about mid-games, why not just get Mario Run and Mario 35 out of the way?
Whoa, Mario 35 was not mid. It was a super fun game to play with people online.
I mean, maybe, but didn't the game last like less than a year?
Give or take 6 to 7 months or so.
In fairness to the game, it was a free online experience that was made to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary.
Actually, the game was only accessible if you paid for Switch Online, so it technically wasn't free.
Oh, fuck off with your damn technicalities.
Truthfully, a game like this would probably fall into irrelevancy after the first year anyway. So they did it a service by cutting the service.
Yeah, you're probably right. Where would you guys think we should put it?
Given the fact that it isn't even available anymore, I say D tier.
Barack, this game is worthy of a mid-C rank.
You'd call this game better than all the low C and D tier games? Better than OG Mario?
Oh, we'll come back to that.
I am so fucking conflicted on this.
It was fine for the time, but hard to argue for now.
Top of D, is that fair?
Joe, I can't allow this game to be placed over Mario Land. Hell, it's about to be placed over the original Mario 2.
Just fucking put it in bottom D. I don't even care anymore.
Works for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to add anything. Just do what you're going to do.
Already doing it.
Has anyone here touched Mario Run before? Because I honestly just didn't even care about it.
It's a fun little pastime if you're on your phone a lot, but it's nothing really special.
That game has stuff locked behind a paywall, doesn't it?
It's been too long, I'm not exactly sure.
I think it was like you had to pay $10 to access the full game or something. Overall, I've heard mixed opinions about the content you get, but the reception leans positive.
Have you played any of it?
No, I haven't, so I can't give an honest rank.
I'd probably say mid-C is safe.
I'll just fucking put it there.
If you're worried about upsetting people, then you should remember that this is a tier list special. That was going to happen regardless of what we did.
Very true. Anyway, before we get to Wonder, we have the Mario Maker games. I was super curious to see how you'd guys rank these particular titles.
This is a series of games where I know that if I were a kid at the time of their release, I would have experienced extreme euphoria. Especially because back around 2010 through maybe 2012, I was super into Mario ROM hacks.
Oh, like Kaizo Mario?
Yeah, Kaizo, another good one was Brutal Mario.
Oh fuck, you just awakened old memories of a brutal Mario playthrough I attempted with Cheney.
The only hack video I remember watching was that old video titled Mario Frustration.
Damn, that's a YouTube classic.
But yeah, I'm a builder. I always like to create things. So when you come to me and say, hey, I got this official Nintendo game where you can make custom Mario World levels, I can't help but feel like I was born too fucking early.
But I feel like Mario Maker's appeal only stretches so far. There's a lot of levels in the course world that aren't exactly top quality.
Obviously, there's going to be those Lil Timmy-ass levels, but you can't deny that the community have come up with an endless amount of bangers at the same time.
Fair.
These games remind me a lot of those chill days where I'd play Super Mario Flash in the office.
Wow, I remember that Flash game. It was fun.
Yeah, I only played that shit for the level builder.
Did you do much level building with the Mario Maker games?
I made one or two, but for the most part, I just played what was online.
Oh man, I can't say the same. There was a time where I went crazy with the level builder.
So bringing it back to the tier list, how should we rank these games?
As fun as they may be, it would be a little irrational putting the first game in S tier, given the fact that they cut the online services.
For both the Wii U and the 3DS, yeah.
Sad but true. For the first two installments, I'd say maybe low B tier given that fact, and then Mario Maker 2 should go under Yoshi's.
You thinking bottom S?
Yeah, there's so many cool things they added to the game that the community has been popping off with. I fucking love it.
I'm getting S vibes from that game too.
I can definitely live with that. Any objections, George?
Nope.
Badass, and with that, we finally reached the newest mainline title.
I don't think we need any kind of build-up. This is an S tier game. The devs at Nintendo knew what the fuck they were doing with this one.
Absolutely.
It literally pulled us out of the long dead mediocrity that was the new Super Mario lineup, and I'm eternally grateful for it.
Bro, it's been a good while since a Mario game wowed me the way this one did. From the different levels that switched up the gimmicks every single time, to the out-of-the-world soundtrack, it's truly worthy of the name Wonder.
So the $100,000 question is, where in S tier does it go?
On one level, I want to pay my respects to the classic games by continuing to hold them up,
But see, I don't know if there's a logical reason to even do that, unless you're just blinded by nostalgia. Dead ass, this game might even be better than Odyssey.
No, Barack, it is not better than Odyssey. How could you think that? It may have saved 2D Mario in a similar fashion, but Odyssey's different worlds, which are just loaded with content, just transcends to a whole other level.
Well, if that's how you feel about it, then why is Mario 64 and Galaxy 1 placed above
I
it?
can justify that because the Galaxy games are perfectly paced, not overwhelming to 100%, and the soundtracks are just God tier. And Mario 64 on God isn't just a game, it's culture.
amen to that.
Okay, I can get behind that.
If it's one thing about Wonder that I'll give it an edge over, are the characters. You don't know how hyped I was playing Daisy for the whole game.
Wonder's final boss is also way better than Odyssey's, in my opinion.
To each his own.
Well, despite my overall feelings, I think placing Wonder under Odyssey just makes sense. While I do cherish the S tier games beneath it, I can comfortably say that the torch has been properly passed with this title.
Yeah, I think that's a good placement.
Very well then. Below Odyssey it goes.
Phew, that was a lot.
Well, get ready for some more because we're about to dive into the final proposal portion of this special.
Cool, because it's
Finally,
about
you know what
because-
Well, this is about to be fantastic, isn't it?
Okay, mine will be super fast, I promise.
Just go, I can wait.
Okay, thank you. Barack, we need to discuss Mario Land's original ranking.
I figured we would.
Let me tell you why it's at least a bottom C. When you take yourself back into that time period where portable gaming was fresh with the Game Boy, this was one of the games that opened that door for most people. It was easily one of the most popular titles, selling over 25 million copies, and while it may fall short in terms of content, it at least got real creative with what it brought to the table.
Understandable,
From
but
the unique level themes to enemies that'll likely never be reused, and abso-fucking-lutely that goated Game Boy soundtrack.
I got it.
And that Super Ball power-up was a lot of fun. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm just going to vote yay, just so we can get to my thing.
Yeah, me too.
Majority rule, I'll take it.
Whoa, you guys don't want to converse about it further?
Okay, so look, I know that I could have done a better job defending Sunshine in the past,
What the fuck, whatever.
but you guys seriously just don't even fully appreciate it.
It's a great game, but it belongs
Above
in...
the new Super Mario games, and I agree.
No, because new Mario DS brought life back into the 2D formula for a time, and then we enhanced everything with multiplayer.
Meanwhile, while those games were busy reusing old world gimmicks, Mario Sunshine was busy building something from scratch. Fancy hotels, theme parks, beautiful beaches. This game nailed its tropical setting, from its level design down to its beautiful soundtrack. I know 100%ing the game can be annoying compared to the other titles, but real talk, you can still enjoy a fucking game without fully completing it.
But,
Spitting facts, I vote yay.
I'm going to bite the bullet and say yay on this because maybe I am being a bit too critical.
okay, can we hold on a second?
Boom, mid-A. Drop it where it goes, please.
Jesus H. Christ, fine. Joe, what game do you want to talk about?
You want to look me in the eye and ask that again like you don't already fucking know?
I can't with this shit.
OG Mario had a dump taken on it by the both of you dweebs 2 years ago, and it's time to pay some respect to Grandpappy.
You want it raised because it started the whole formula, right?
It is the definition of peak casual classic gaming and deserves a spot above Mario USA.
Okay, no, Mario USA is absolutely a better game.
I vote yay.
I'll return your kindness with a yay, Joe.
Well-
Thank you, boys. What a true moment of joy.
Did you fuckers collude on this?
What does that even mean?
1,
2?
3.
Whoa, what are you fucking insane? Get off me!
Joe, do it now!
I'm on it.
Are you fucking kidding me? Don't you fucking dare put that game up there!
You fucking weenie, we're putting it under Galaxy 1, and that's that. I'm gonna go get our guest.
Yeah, go grab him, you fucking... Well, it's been a bit of a journey today with these, but thankfully we've reached the grand finale. Our last task for this special is to do a complete reconstruction of our original Mario RPG list.
It seriously doesn't feel like it was all that long ago.
Yeah, you remember that awkward silence we shared while watching Barack figure out OBS?
That was definitely back when there was more tension between the three of us.
what even got you guys into doing videos in the first place?
Originally, it was going to be a show with just Joe and I, but Sasha told me that if we wanted people to watch, then we'd need to spice it up with some drama.
That's when they hit me up with the offer, and it seemed like it'd be a lot of fun, so I was down.
You were hesitant at first, let's not lie.
Because I didn't know if you knew how to make a good show. But you've actually evolved quite a bit, Barack. I remember when you used to try to keep things super professional, but ever since the Mario World Challenge, you've been letting loose more, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, well, one can only keep his decorum for so long while sitting between you dweebs.
I can feel the love.
Anyway, you want to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. So like Barack said, we're going to be taking a look back at our old RPG list. And to make things interesting, I wanted to bring another face in, someone who I know is heavily into these games, namely the Paper Mario series. So without further exposition, let's welcome my homie, Elon Musk.
Nice to have another Paper Mario aficionado join the fray, man. Welcome.
Good to be here.
One of the other reasons we decided to bring Elon in is because he sort of acts as a counter to George, who's more interested in the Mario and Luigi series. And if for some reason we find ourselves getting into a tie, he may be able to break it.
To be clear to the people at home, I don't hate Paper Mario. My thing is that there's only 2 games that scratch the itch I'm looking for when wanting to play an easy RPG.
Technically 3.
Okay, so what do you guys say we get cracking on these?
I'm excited. Let's do it.
I'm all hype right now, Barack. You don't even know.
Right, so to start, I figured we'd get the odd ones out of the way because I know most of you still aren't too familiar with these games.
Why are they even on the list?
Because they're technically known as tactical RPGs, which still counts, Donald.
Well, just like last time, I only played the first game. I enjoyed it enough to complete the campaign, but I honestly don't care to ever revisit this unless it was for content. Even then, the idea doesn't excite me.
Understood? Well, does anybody else have input on these games?
You always ask about us, but what about you, Barack?
Well, I've never played them, so I can't really rank them.
Well, I played both games, and frankly, I think the first fits well in C tier and the second game in B.
Does the second game essentially improve on the formula, prompting a higher rank?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it sits high in a list with these other Sigma titles.
Yeah, like I hinted at before, they're both fine, but sitting amongst the Paper Mario and Luigi series, it's kind of hard to compare.
But one could argue that the Rabbids games are at least better than some of the Paper Mario titles.
True, but we'll get to that later.
So are we firm on C for the first and B for the second?
People want to hear about the other games right now.
10-4.
Do you guys want to go about this in a chronological order or by series?
I don't think we're capable of going in chronological order.
Why don't we just go back and forth? You know, like one Paper Mario game, then a Mario and Luigi game.
I dig that.
But first, we should pay our respects to the GOAT that started this whole genre.
Huh, holy shit.
What, is something funny?
Sorry, it's nothing. It's just, there's recently been so much hype surrounding Brothership these past several months that I, hand to God, forgot about the remakes that also came out during these past couple of years.
I think that's something that can be forgiven because it's an actual new game instead of just a remake.
Maybe so, but let's not act like the recent Mario RPG and TTYD remakes weren't absolute gas.
Undeniable.
All right, so Donald wants to talk about RPG, so let's talk about RPG. I know that last time we commented that the game is dated, but I had a recent change of tone with it that stemmed from the remake's announcement.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like most people, I went back and played the original during the big anticipation for the remake and was blown away by the addictive gameplay.
I still stand by what I said regarding its graphics.
Joe, I wouldn't expect you of all people to be shitting on an older game for its graphics.
For real, what the fuck? And you know what? You can't make that argument with the remake. It's a definite S-tier game.
You may be right about that, but I still say the OG is mid-A.
No, we're not separating them like that.
What's up with this tension you seem to have with this game?
There is no tension. I'm saying it should go in A tier.
But what's keeping it out of S? Refresh my memory.
Okay, let me tell you. I've already mentioned its fuzzy-looking sprites.
Absurd?
Okay, tell me what the fuck's the point in talking if you goons are just gonna outvote me anyway.
No, hold on, bro. Well, listen, we just want to understand your points.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to hear you out on this.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely 100% real with you guys. You get me?
Sure, please, just explain.
I never completed the original.
What? Huh?
Really?
I remember getting up to that weird boob lady with the bird before clocking out.
Then how on earth are you gonna just shit on
Because
it like...
it couldn't hold my interest the way Paper Mario did, Donald. Is that concept too foreign for you? I'll admit I'm being an ass when talking about the graphics, but the timed hits mechanic literally just felt like trial and error with the timing. And the different areas just felt so linear and boring.
Oh, right. So you needed another RPG to come in with Mario 3 gimmicks to reel in your simple fucking brain.
You stupid lying son of a dick. Paper Mario did not steal gimmicks from Mario 3.
It literally didn't. What are you talking about?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just got angry.
To be fair, it did have a desert and ice world.
That doesn't mean anything.
For real, George, what are you trying to cook with that?
Does using a theme previously used in an old platformer just automatically mean it's a ripoff?
Of course not. I'm just pointing out that there are some similarities between certain areas.
Literally in theme alone. The game also has a grass and island area. I suppose those are ripoffs too?
Okay, man, I get it.
Ooh, shit, there's a Bowser's Castle area too.
I get it. I concede.
Did you at least play the remake?
I did give it a chance and genuinely had a great deal of fun. And yes, I did complete it.
But the remake is not all that different.
Not true, they improved the timed hits mechanic.
Dude, it wasn't all that hard in the original. Come on.
It just wasn't for me, bro. Can we just be okay with that?
You know what? Something we could do is just say the original is top A and the remake is bottom S.
And it would still grind my fucking gears.
Why can't they both just be an S?
Because I think it's fair to at least say that the remake did a successful job in overshadowing the original.
Excuse me?
It's relatively easier to access right now, the battle system's slightly easier for new players, and on top of being more visually appealing, its extra content can motivate people to just keep going after the campaign is complete.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Elon, don't tell me you're agreeing with this.
On the surface, I was ready to just say, yeah. Mario RPG is goated, but when you pull back some of the layers, I think it's fair to state that it's great, but not perfect.
Understandable. You can leave now.
Donald, quit being a dick.
I'm just fucking with him. Relax.
We work together just about every day, Barack. I know when he's screwing around.
If you say so, but anyway, I'll just plop the original at top A and the remake in bottom S.
Okay.
If that's what the majority's voting on, then it's something I can live with.
I feel like I need to go play it again to pay my respects.
Whatever helps you cope, bro. But hey, up next is our opener to one of the most beloved N64 games of all time.
Paper fucking Mario.
Now, before we continue, I will say that I like the pattern of jumping back and forth between this and the Mario and Luigi series. So that's what we're gonna do. So instead of rushing things like we did last time, why don't we just take a moment to attempt a pros and cons, as well as just talking about our experience with the games as we go.
I will make an honest effort.
Same.
Good enough. So, Elon, I understand that you're super big on this game?
A true understatement. This game to me is 1,000% the undisputed king of the whole RPG lineup.
Really?
Whoa.
Damn, my boy's just gonna come out and say it?
Where TTYD does undeniably have the best battle mechanics, 64 has the better chapters. It's debatable on whether the bosses are better. Personally, I think they are. But for sure, the first Paper Mario's chapters are perfectly paced, fun to explore, and not at all annoying to traverse.
But in terms of level themes, TTYD has 64 beat. You literally start the adventure by getting mugged in a poverty-stricken area before running off to go slay a fucking dragon, Elon.
But a lot of the issues that are well known with TTYD's chapters are the backtracking. To the remake's credit, it did things to alleviate the annoyance. But 64 didn't need a second try to fix its mistakes.
Damn, bro's spittin'.
But 64 doesn't have the same colorful cast of partners that TTYD has.
I will concede to that. However, you could also argue that in terms of battle mechanics, the original squad had more useful companions.
Goombella, Vivian, and Admiral Bobbery would beg to differ.
Not to mention the Yoshi kid.
Well, actually, Elon does have a bit of a point with this. For whatever reason, I found myself swapping between each partner more in 64 than I did in TTYD.
The only one I'd argue is pointless for battles is Lackluster.
The homies call him Spike.
Geez, I didn't expect this to turn into a debate between the first two Paper Mario games.
My dude definitely came out of nowhere with this curveball.
Joe, do you also share this view about 64?
As much as I cherish the game, I can't help but concede that in terms of story and gameplay, that TTYD is a step up from the original. There may be some things that it hard fumbled on, but it is legitimately the GOAT for a reason.
And that is always a perspective I both understand and respect. But at the same time, I can't lie to myself by saying I've played TTYD more than 64. The game is admittedly just an easier revisit that never disappoints or drags.
With the exception of the prologue, that portion felt super slow because Mario couldn't use action commands yet.
I always speed through that shit. It ain't a big deal.
So is the case here that you two now believe that 64 is an S-tier game?
No, I think it's sleepy tier. The terrible game. Yeah, I'd vote mid to high S.
I'm firm on mid.
I like it, but I don't think it's S-tier material because it just felt way too simple.
Mario RPG is simple as well, you know.
True, but that game has bosses that go crazy if you don't grind properly.
You always gotta prep for QLEX.
That's true. You know what? I'm going to throw Joe and Elon a bone by siding with them on this rank. Because Elon admittedly went nuts on the explanations.
That's fine.
Much appreciated.
Rock and roll, baby.
And you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm just going to drop TTYD and S tier above it as well.
I guess the only question with those two games is, was the remake better?
I'll tell you what, man, I could swear I had to be smiling during my entire playthrough of the remake. And those extra bosses, bro, holy fuck, they were tough as nails.
Definitely the first legitimate challenge Paper Mario has offered in a good while. But if I'm being real, I can't help but feel like I still enjoy the original more.
Because of the frame rate?
I know that was an actual complaint for some people, but I played the game just fine and never really experienced any kind of frame issues. But something I think the original still has the edge on is the soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the remake's renditions of some songs, plus the partner tracks were cool, but the original just has this certain sound that's more appealing to the ear.
Grotus's themes were fucking bangers, though, I can't lie.
They were intense, I'll give you that.
More intense than the actual fight.
Even if the frame rate doesn't make the game unplayable, it's undeniable that the original just ran a lot smoother. I also feel like it's harder to super guard in the remake, and I don't know if it's because of that. So for that reason, I'm going to give the point to the original.
So that's 2 votes for the original. Elon, Joe, what are you thinking?
I'll give the remake the point for making Chapter 4 and 7 somewhat tolerable.
Yeah, that was fucking huge. In fact, fuck, I think I'll go ahead and give the remake the point as well.
I'm going to stick with the OG on this.
Excellent choice.
Goated, Joseph.
Really? What settled it for you?
Just the fact that even with its flaws, I still had the time of my life each time I revisited Rogueport. Also, I'm able to mash through dialogue quicker in the original, which makes those replays way more easy to endure.
Ooh, that's fair. Good point.
Okay, so OG on top, then remake just below. Let's shift it a bit and talk about Superstar Saga. Last time we put it at the bottom of S tier.
I don't know why you did that. Partners in Time is a better game.
Excuse me?
Thank you.
You better fucking explain this to me right now, dude. I'm not playing.
It's not that complex. The game is just super easy, linear, and a bit dated when talking about the overall battle system.
But the remake actually went back and updated the battle system, so what's your retort there?
That I don't like the Dream Team art style over the classic sprites.
I think it was more acceptable there than it was in Bowser's Inside Story.
But this has got to be the most replayable game in the Mario and Luigi series. Just because the battle system may be more basic by comparison doesn't mean it ain't still a lot of fun.
Cackletta is also a pretty decent villain.
I mean, sure, but when you compare the enemies and bosses to this game to the ones in Partners, they're so fucking easy.
Even the final boss where you fight with 1 HP?
I am so fucking sick of everyone bringing that up. You can literally just heal yourself.
Right, after the barrage of nutty-ass attacks.
By that point, you should be good enough at the game to get good at dodging. It literally wasn't a problem for me.
Sheesh. I don't know about this one, Georgie.
The final boss of the game has 3 phases, each where you fight a 3,000 HP evil alien tyrant that practically turns into a fucking kaiju.
Plus that little bullet hell mode at the end.
I wouldn't call it a bullet hell, but yeah, the little mini game with Bowser.
Bean Kingdom is way more fucking interesting than half of the areas in Partners. And dealing with the babies is actually obnoxious.
No and no.
Yes, and fuck you.
They also made the questionable decision to turn Bro's moves into items.
Ruined the whole game.
They are overpowered, infinite looping attacks that can clear out the entire battlefield.
Elon, how are you vouching for this game more than Superstars?
I just like the concept of evil aliens and time travel.
Jesus, I should have fucking figured.
Would the remake's Minions mode be considered a plus in this debate?
No.
Why? It's extra content.
Extra content where you pick a team and stare at the screen while they just run at each other till somebody wins.
I mean, I digged it.
So what is the end goal here, guys? Let's talk placements.
I think both games go in A tier, but Partners has a slight edge.
Definitely over Dream Team, which shouldn't even be an A tier, by the way.
Don't get me wrong, man. I loved Partners, but Superstar Saga has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, Partners ain't climbing over it.
Sorry, fellas, I'm Team Superstars as well.
It's okay. George and I can get together later to make a better list.
Facts.
Unbelievable.
Wait, did we discuss if the remake was better than the OG?
OG wins. Better art style and faster gameplay.
This is true.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just keep it moving.
Our next game is Super Paper Mario, which we had in top B last time. I'll be honest, man, I feel like it's at least worthy of an A rank.
No way, Barack. The gameplay is piss easy and straight away from what made Paper Mario tolerable.
But the story is literally one of the best ever in Mario history.
Right, the tragic love ballad of a guy that I can beat in 5 seconds.
Jesus, we're doing this again.
This game is mid as fuck, and nobody will change my mind. Because while the story is most definitely an important element of a game, the factor that trumps all is its gameplay. And they fucked it up by making an RPG into a baby-time platformer.
The game really wasn't all that bad, Donald. It just has a different style that appeals to other niches.
Well, my itch wasn't scratched. so I say it goes in D.
Just like last time, you're being a fucking ingrate. This game is a solid A to maybe B tier at worst.
While I do very much enjoy this game, I can't help but admit that it falters a bit by stepping away from the classic RPG elements.
I haven't really cared to revisit this one a whole bunch, to be honest. But that doesn't mean I don't like it. The game was pretty remarkable.
This marked the fall of the series for me, at least with its gameplay, so I think where you had it was fitting.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I'm sorry, Joe, it's a fantastic game, but in terms of an RPG, there are better games on the list.
Whatever.
Up next...
Bowser's is S tier, no question.
That's three. 3 fucking times you guys didn't properly rank a game in your subscriber special.
I get it, we were talking about so much that we fucked up.
Do you understand how annoyed the Partners in Time fan base is gonna be?
He's got a point, Barry. The dislikes might be in the single digits.
Just fucking fix it and get back to what you were doing, please.
It's going in bottom A.
It's literally the best RPG in the franchise, but Jesus fuck, that stupid-ass remake should have just gone to Partners in Time.
I'm being totally serious with you when I say I hated the remake. It was an absolute pointless addition to my library.
What didn't you like about it?
My primary problem with it was the ugly art mixed with the drop in frames. In my opinion, it was way more noticeable here than it was in TTYD.
I noticed that too.
But hang on, you said it's the best of the RPGs, but I don't really agree with that.
You can think what you want. This is one of my most replayed games of all time. It's literally never not fun to go back to.
I would say it's one of the most satisfying RPGs to play because who the fuck doesn't like playing as Bowser? Getting to beat the shit out of everything as him was such an exhilarating experience during my first playthrough.
And the soundtrack is perfect, just perfect.
In the final,
Okay, but once again, the final boss is easy as shit and doesn't compare to the Shadow Queen.
I can't help but agree with that. The primary thing about the Dark Bowser fight that slapped was the theme.
But the build-up to everything, not to mention our boy Fawful, just made everything so hype.
If you consistently upgrade power throughout the game, the fight is like 6 turns of dopamine.
You're exaggerating.
If we're talking about the peak of S tier, boys, then here's my logic. Both of these games are fucking fantastic, no question. But when you lump both the originals with their respective remakes together, then you can't help but feel that Paper Mario pulls slightly ahead. Because not only was the TTYD remake just beautiful, it was also necessary because the OG dropped in 2004 on an older console. Meanwhile, the remake to Bowser's was around 10 years after the OG, but it literally wasn't in dire need of a remaster. You could play the old game on the 3DS without issue.
Plus, the changes they brought in made the game worse, and Bowser Jr.'s journey is about as exciting as the minion battle in Superstars.
Precisely.
I'm sorry, George, but Joe's kind of cooking a bit here with that reasoning. The Thousand Year Door remake did a lot more justice to its game and community than the Bowser's Inside Story remake did for its respective franchise.
to be real, it is kind of worth noting that the remake was sort of the dying breath of our homies at Alpha Dream.
Fair enough, I suppose, but personally, if we're strictly talking OGs, then Bowser's is just more exciting to me than TTYD.
I respect your view on that.
So I feel like the majority vote is to put these games under the TTYDs, right, Donald?
Yeah, I don't object to anything.
Great, then I'll drop these games below the Thousand Year Door remake. The next game is...
Don't even waste your breath.
Yeah, this game can't contend with anything on this list.
Very well.
Well, hang on. Don't just skip it without at least giving a description as to why it's in Sleepy.
Where Super Paper Mario stripped the franchise of its unmistakably goated gameplay, this game stripped it of its story and sense of identity.
As a game, it's fine, but overall, it's such a fucking skip.
I didn't even play this.
All right, whatever.
So anyway, we put Dream Team at bottom A last time, but I'm now understanding that there is some contention about that.
Don't get me wrong, the game had some pretty hype moments, but in hindsight, there's a lot of mediocre shit that overshadows them.
The pacing and tutorials really just fuck up the immersion for me. And it also just drags longer than it needs to.
But the new moves and honestly, the overall battle system was amazing though.
True, and I would argue that the battle system is one of the reasons the game is still relatively high on the list.
The giant battles were also pretty damn fun as well.
They're more cinematic for sure, I'll give you that.
I don't know if it was just me, but I had a lot of problems fighting Bowser when he was in his shell. You know, where you had to tilt the console a bit?
I don't know, it seemed fine to me.
A piece of criticism I have for the game is that Antasma was an unbelievably weak villain.
Yeah, it did feel like he was just a second fiddle to Bowser.
When you beat him in the game, everything literally just moves on, like he was literally nothing.
To the credit of that final section, that dreamy Bowser fight was spectacular.
A spectacular boss? In a not-so-spectacular game.
So the vibe is starting to feel like B tier if I'm reading the room right.
Yeah, I'd say it's B.
But is it better than Super Paper Mario?
Absolutely.
I'm hesitant to say yes.
If you're looking to scratch the RPG itch, then yes, it's better.
I put it higher last time, so hard for me to argue about it now, but I love them both.
I'll just put it at top B.
Up next is the game that Barack vouched for in the original video.
You vouched for Color Splash?
Yeah, the game isn't even all that bad. It's got extremely funny dialogue, the battle system was a bit improved, And the different areas in music were a pretty good step up from its predecessor.
You still had to be careful with those thing cards, particularly the ones that need to be used to change things in the overworld. One wrong use will screw you.
Maybe, but if I'm remembering correctly, they at least give you a chance to buy them again at the shops.
Didn't they also make some of those cards mandatory to beat chapter bosses?
Yes, and I'll admit I don't particularly care for that.
So do you feel that this game is better than Top C?
Not really. I'm actually happy with where we put it last time.
It is absolutely not better than Origami King, though.
Well, you can take that up with Donald. He's the main reason it plays so low.
Well, let's try to stick with the pattern we got going. So you said C tier, right?
Top C, yeah.
Does anyone object to Top C?
No.
I'm good with it.
It's definitely a better game than Sticker Star, but it still utilizes its flawed formula. So I would say mid to low C.
Well, you're the only one who feels that way, so top C it goes. So that leaves us with 3 games left, the next of which is the second to last installment of the Mario and Luigi series.
And what a wet fart of an opportunity.
Nah, they fucked this one up for real.
It wasn't terrible.
This game had the chance to mingle the best of both worlds together. We could have seen Mario and Luigi interacting with some of the old partners, or even villains, but all the uninspired hacks at Nintendo could muster was Paper Toads, the Koopalings, and Paper Bowser with Sun.
Bro's monotone anger is justified. This was a banger concept that somehow ended up being such a huge miss. Shit's crazy. I tried to revisit it this last year, but completely lost interest not even halfway through because I hated collecting the Paper Toads.
Don't even get me started on that.
George, are you about to be the primary defender of this game?
What? I actually agree that it was a weaker installment and a definite crime to the Paper Mario stands. However, as a game, it's definitely acceptable to say it's all right.
But in a list with all these other games, it's deserving of bottom D.
Sleepy.
Bottom D is fine.
Not looking good for it.
Just put it back in bottom D. The game has a few positive moments, though the only positives I can recount off the top of my head are the battle system and the cool final boss.
Right. Okay, so back to
This game literally has one of the best interpretations of the Mushroom Kingdom next to 64.
Holy fuck, bro cracked an emotion.
Yeah, but puzzles.
The battle system is hit or miss because some people just don't have the patience for puzzles. But overall, I think it was fun.
Yeah, but no partners.
While it isn't exactly the same as the original games, you can't just ignore the impact that certain characters like Bobby had during the story. Plus, Olivia is an absolute treat when it comes to partners.
She ain't better than Tippy.
Elon, you have a desk, right?
Multiple?
Right, so I have one, as I'm sure you're aware.
Uh-huh.
See, what I'm thinking is we could determine this game's rank by betting on who has the most Origami King bosses just laying around.
You motherfucker.
Why are you mad? You apparently have an advantage.
Let's bring it back to actual reasoning, please.
Is he not making a point with that?
Look, dude, I get people's point when they say that this game did a lot of justice for the franchise, but the point is that they just keep missing with this shit. I seriously hope that the reception surrounding TTYD's remake gets something into Nintendo's head, because there's a fucking reason the first 2 games are so beloved. I just don't for the life of me understand why they fucking change shit that works.
All the boss fights in this game suck ass.
Whatever. I still think this game is high C over Color Splash.
I say keep it the same.
I feel that way too. I strangely just love Color Splash more.
We can't agree on this, but it's your list, so I'll accept it.
Thanks. So that wraps up the Paper Mario series. Now all that's left is to talk about the newest installment to the Mario and Luigi series. Tell me what you guys think about brothership. So, something's looming here.
I don't hear you saying anything.
Whoa, bro, I wasn't trying to criticize you.
Look, I'm gonna be straight. I couldn't fucking complete this game.
Oh, thank God, not just me.
Well, there lies a serious problem.
Yeah, well, why were you so fucking quiet, huh?
Because I saw the look on your faces and I was ready to strike.
Oh, please.
Did you manage to complete the game, Elon?
Yeah, it was fine. I liked the second half of it.
Oh, yeah? How many months did it take you to get there?
It was 10 to 15 hours, you drama queen.
That's not exactly better, George.
I'll admit that this is definitely one of my favorites in the series, but you can't deny that it has a pacing problem.
I know, but the way everything builds up is so much fun.
Whoever thought that it would be a great idea to have me wait around in the hub world while it slowly sails across the world map should have taken a back seat.
They give you upgrades that enable fast travel, you impatient dick.
Wow, when does that happen? 40 or 50 hours into the fucking game?
Even if it is quicker, you still gotta wait a bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not too big on games that do that type of shit.
Yeah, I'd prefer to get straight to the action.
Too bad, because if it's one thing that this game couldn't seem to figure out, it was how to get to the fucking point.
But dude, once you finally get into the groove of things, everything becomes a serious hype train.
The battle system is arguably one of the best in the series, in my opinion. All the little upgrades you can nab, like those plug things, for example, makes for extremely versatile combat.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, yeah, it definitely had some fun moments. Maybe I should give it a revisit with some extra patience.
You absolutely need to, especially being that you're a guy who's big on story.
Yeah, this game definitely popped off with the overarching plot.
Don't spoil anything. The game's still relatively new and these two haven't played it.
Much appreciated, buddy.
All I'm going to say is that the main villain is on some serious Madara Uchiha shit. Those who know will understand.
So what are you guys feeling in terms of the rank? Personally, I think it goes in A.
An honest rank for me would be top of A. The S-tier games are definitely superior in that their extra content doesn't lead into super slow pacing. But that's literally the only major problem with Brothership. Everything else is phenomenal.
Despite my grievances, the battle system is fine, but I don't really like how Luigi was handled.
They turned our boy into a problem solver instead of a fucking coward, which is a step up from previous titles.
But he was also less funny. In fact, most of this game, from what I've seen, is just serious shit with a hint of cringe humor. So I'd say low C.
You're the motherfucker who's Delulu.
Oh, for the love of Joe, please tell me what you think.
I can tell that there was a lot of love put into this game, but unfortunately, I have to refer back to the fact that I had to put it down after a while. The game is too slow of a burn for my liking, but maybe I can give it another chance and actually complete it. With everything mentioned in mind, I'm okay with top B or bottom A.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Do you think we can meet in the middle and say bottom A?
As long as it's actually in A tier, I'm cool.
Democracy has failed.
Oh, can it, you damn doofus.
Well, I can't believe we actually managed it, but we finally closed the book on this fucking tier list revisit.
This felt like a wild ride, but man, was it a lot of fun.
How's your head, by the way?
It's fine, you fucking jackass. Thank God for the padded walls.
I'm sorry, you saw how aggressive you got.
And it's taking a lot of restraint to not fix it. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning into our 20K special. All the engagement and support is seriously appreciated.
Hopefully this special scratched the itch that a lot of people had for these tier list videos, because our gameplay projects have truthfully been more fun to make lately.
Which reminds me, we better get back to recording some new stuff for the channel.
Absolutely. But as a message to Ben, you seriously need to get cracking on the remaining Minecraft and Code V parts. Also, big thanks to Elon for coming in to join us.
Oh yeah, not a problem at all. This was fun. If you guys ever record Paper Mario in the future, you should hit me up.
Yeah, we can definitely keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna head out then. See ya.
Have a good one, Elon.
Yes, Mr. Musk?
Just checking on progress.
All damages to the outer shell and core have been repaired. Took us a bit to get the parts, but everything seems operational.
And has it shown any signs of consciousness?
Not yet. Again, the core seems to be active, but it's at the very least not showing any interest in attempts towards communication. However, it does appear to be observing.
Yeah, so anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.